You know, the New Testament frequently uses the term blood as a graphic metonym that speaks of Christ's death on the cross as His final sacrifice. You'll find on the internet very easily, if you follow John MacArthur's ministry, if you type in John MacArthur, you'll find different articles that will pull up where they'll say he doesn't believe in the blood of Christ. Folks, that is just pure lies right there. Even his ministry put out after these things came out a page that could be circulated around showing what he believes. This man's been in ministry 40 years, has written a commentary on almost every book of the New Testament. He has over 3 million tapes out. It's not hard to find out what this guy believes. You know? We have 900 messages on the internet, and it's not hard to find out what we believe. It's not like we only have 1 or 2 messages. But there are people out there that get backed up into a heresy on the blood of Christ. And they talk about there being something special in the fluid. Folks, Jesus was 100% human and 100% divine. You say you can't have 200% of something, but you do. That's the mystery. That's the incarnation. That's God becoming flesh. And folks, His blood as a human was no different than your blood or my blood. Yet there are people on the internet that will say that statement right there is heresy. Folks, but you got to understand, when it speaks of the blood of Christ, it's talking about His death. It's talking about the whole of His redemption that He provided. And listen to some of the verses that talk about this. Over in Acts chapter 20, Paul is speaking to the elders at Ephesus, and he tells them, verse 28, "Be on guard for yourselves and for all the flock among which the Holy Spirit has made you overseers to shepherd the church of God." Get this, which He purchased with His own blood. Now, what do you hear when you hear verses like that? You're talking about His whole sacrificial death on the cross. You're talking about even encompassing His resurrection. It encompasses everything about redemption in that phrase, that He purchased with His own blood. Look with me over at Romans chapter 5. And you'll find again similar terminology. Beginning at verse 6. It says, "For while we were still helpless, at the right time Christ died for the ungodly." Circled the word died. "For one will hardly die for a righteous man, though perhaps for a good man someone would even dare to die." Die is mentioned 3 times. "But God demonstrates His own love toward us, in that while we were yet sinners, Christ did what?" Say it. Died for us. "Much more then, having now been justified by His blood, we shall be saved from the wrath of God through Him." You could even substitute in there, "Much more than having now been justified by His death."